Welcome, 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 friends. I'm thrilled to have you all for the special episode of today's YouTube live session. And today, I'm sure that you all know that today's topic is how to build your legacy of love and birth your bigger mission. And for that, I'm honored to have the esteemed Lainne Love, an award winning psychology coach. Friends, in a world where we are constantly seeking meaning and fulfillment, so today's discussion could be more relevant. It's building a legacy of love. It isn't about the relationship we nurture, but also about the positive impact we leave behind. It's about creating a ripple effect of kindness, compassion, and purpose that can transform not only our lives but also the lives of people around us. Lainne Love, with her extensive experience and unique insights, will guide us through understanding how to align our passion with our larger mission in life. She will share practical strategies to overcome obstacles and fears, helping us unlock our true potential. So, whether you are seeking personal growth, professional direction, or simply you are looking for inspiration, then this session is definitely promising you to provide valuable takeaways for every one of you. I'm so excited to have all of you here in the session. Your presence actually signifies your commitment to personal development and your desire to make a meaningful impact. So feel free to be engaged in the session. Keep asking your questions, keep asking if you have any doubt or if you need any clarity anytime, and Lenny will be answering that, your question or your doubt. So let me call Lenny on the stage. But again, before calling Lenny on the stage, as a ritual, I'll share a small introduction about her. Lenny is an award-winning spiritual psychology coach. She's a best-selling author. She's a leading edge healer. She's a CEO and a very proud mom. She's passionate about innovation and dedicated to people who are self activated, taking action, and people who want to positively contribute to the evolution of humanity by living a legacy of love. Wow, I really love it. So, without any delay, let me call Lenny on the stage. Also, she will let you know about a program which you can join free of charge, and that is to manifesting millions. And everybody wants to manifest their dreams. So, if you want to join the program, Lenny will help you in that, and she will tell you more about this session. So now, without any delay, let me call her on the stage. And Lenny, friends, if you're excited about Lenny, just type welcome, Lenny. And Lenny will be talking to you for next 30 to 35 minutes. And then we will have a Q&A round where you can ask your questions and Lenny will answer. Also, once the session will be over, I will mention her details in the description box so that you can directly connect with her and you can enlighten yourself with her valuable coaching. Right? So, welcome Lenny on the stage and over to you.
Hi, thank you so much for having me, and thank you for that beautiful introduction. I've never been called the esteemed anything, so that made my heart bigger. Thank you so much. And welcome to everybody who is here. And let's just get right into it, right? That's why you're here. You're here to learn and grow. And you're obviously curious about building your legacy of love and living into your bigger mission. So, how do you do that? Right? I have these dreams, I have these things that I want to do, and I feel frustrated because I've been working on myself a lot and I've been taking all of these steps and I've been doing the things, and I'm not exactly where I would like to be, or I don't seem to be aligning with that. So, the first steps there are, if that's where you are, if you're in the place where you are taking a lot of action and you know where you are and you just can't figure out how to get from A to B despite all of the action steps that you're taking, that's a really great place to be. It's a really great place to be because you know where it is that you're going, you know what it is that you want, and all of those little clues actually are really, really helpful. So I'm just going to help you to look at what the challenges are in your life and just change your relationship with those things by being able to look at them as clues. So to learn to be grateful for them because those are the things that are going to help you to get to where it is that you want to go. So say you're in this place. Okay. So the first thing that I do with clients and the continual thing actually that I do is always notice a name. So notice, where are you? Okay, well, I'm in frustration. I am in hopelessness. I just want to give up. Great. Amazing. You know where you are. So that's where you are. And you know that I want to get to living my bigger mission. And my bigger mission is it's going to look a lot different for everybody else. But if you're wanting to figure out what your bigger mission is, that'll be the next step. Right now we're dealing with the scenario as if you already know what that is and you're just trying to figure out how to get there. So you're starting to look at where it is that you are and noticing those feelings. And when you start to notice those feelings, then you get a really good handle on where it is that you are and you start to see the blocks that are in the way. And those are just your stepping stones. So if you can just start to think of blocks as stepping stones, great. I have 20 different stepping stones that I need to maneuver around in order to get to where I want to go. Or maybe you only have 3 to 5. Who knows? Everybody is going to be different. And wherever you are, it's just perfect. I feel like I had like 1,000. 1,000 stepping stones. And sometimes along the way, it was really, really challenging. I definitely had a lot of times, not just moments, but a lot of periods of time in which I felt extremely overwhelmed, extremely depressed, extremely hopeless and frustrated and like it's not fair. Life isn't fair. It's not fair. I'm doing all these things. How come I'm not getting the results I want? How come other people are doing all these things or even half the things and they're getting the results? I totally uh have been in many, many different of those states. So I can really understand the frustration that can go along with that. And so I'm just acknowledging that because that's really important to acknowledge the things that you have felt and just to again acknowledge like where you are. Getting really real and honest with yourself is paramount for you to be able to move forward. If you're not being honest with yourself, you're going to take a lot longer to be able to move forward. And I wasn't honest with myself for a really long time. I didn't even notice that I wasn't. I didn't even know that I wasn't being honest with myself because I had become so effective and so practiced at lying to myself. I didn't realize that that was like my all the time state. And when I say lying to myself, I mean I was cheating myself in lots of ways and saying that I'm like, well, I'm doing all this work, I'm doing all these things. And yeah, that's true. But I was shortcutting it or I wasn't embodying it. And that means embodying means like actually not only reading about and the processes or taking the knowledge, but actually like practicing it day to day. So I'm reading about, exercise, and then I'm actually exercising. So as you start to actually do those things, that means that you are embodying it, you're practicing it, you're being it, you're doing it. And eventually that just becomes your natural state. So I didn't realize that I was selling myself short because I thought, well, I know these things. Well, knowing something or having a familiarity with them because, I had educated myself is a very different thing than like living it, being it, doing it, therefore embodying it. So, where in your life do you feel like, oh, I know those things? I don't want to hear anything more about this, or I'm frustrated. I want to bypass this or overlook it because the inner dialogue is, well, I already know these things. But do you? Do you? Are you living them? Are you practicing them? That means that you're actually like, that you know it, that you're doing it, is that you're practicing it on a day-to-day basis. So where in your life is that happening with you or for you? Just think about it. Where are you not embodying the things that you're practicing? So that's another clue. Okay. See, I had bypassed a lot of my healing. So I'd worked with a lot of coaches and therapists with this commitment that I wanted to be better. I wanted to overcome these patterns, but I kept not actually doing it because I was outsmarting myself. At least that's what I thought. That's what I thought I was doing by understanding something instead of actually doing it. So that's another great thing to notice. Where are you selling yourself short? Where are you thinking that you know the things, but you're not actually doing it? So notice how you're feeling. Notice all the ways in which you're selling yourself short. And then start to notice the feelings that you're having, because that's another way in which we don't actually embody the things that we're wanting to do, be, or have. Is we push down our feelings, or we ignore our feelings, and they get stuck in our body, and that creates a stagnation, and those become the obstacles that are in our path, that are in our way, keeping us from where it is that we're wanting to go. And we don't really put those things together. Like, how is it that my feeling is keeping me from getting to where I want to be? Just becomes a point of an energetic blockage. Yeah, a point of an energetic blockage. So we only have so much space, you know, within this container, within this human form. We have our energy bodies, and we have the capacity to have access to more energy and space. But within this container, we only have so much space. So if we keep repressing all of our feelings, we're actually creating stagnant energy, because emotions, feelings, they are energy. So if you're not actually allowing yourself to process them all the way through, and therefore then let them go, then you end up becoming a storehouse. And all of that stored energy is actually what is standing in the way of you and your goal, or the thing that it is that you want, your bigger mission, your legacy of love. So here we are. Well, let's review the steps again. So notice the things that are happening in your life. Notice what you want. Notice the ways in which you're selling out on yourself, or could be, or should be. And then notice the emotion that goes with that, because that is going to be the key. That's my favorite way of releasing all of that stuck, stagnant energy. I find it to be a shortcut and the easiest way. Is we can use tools, which I love, like hypnotherapy or rapid transformational therapy. I am a rapid transformational therapy practitioner. I had the honor and privilege of studying with Marissa Peer at her school. And I love all of the techniques that she uses, and I particularly love her attitude, because she just lets you know that changing is easy. And that's a great way to look at change, adopting that perspective that change can be easy, and it is easy. It's just what the hard part is, actually practicing the things on a daily basis, or at a moment to moment basis, that you want to be shifting in your life. So the actual steps are pretty simple, it's the practice or coming up against yourself. That's the challenging part, is learning how to adopt this new pattern or behavior. And that just comes with practice. So again, just thinking of it as something that actually can be easy, in that it's just something that I get to keep practicing until it becomes so much more seamless in my daily routine. So knowing that, so you can use those tools like hypnosis or rapid transformational therapy to start to work on your subconscious reprogramming. And subconscious reprogramming and emotions are really like hand in hand. And I like to use that way of reprogramming, of working with the emotions, just to release the energy, so that it makes the pathway so much easier. At least I find that it does. Maybe somebody else has a different way of doing it. It's just the way that I like doing it, and I find it to be the most enjoyable, because it's fast. It's fast. And it's really, really important to release that energy and to work on your subconscious programs, because it's that programming that is the thing that is also keeping you from getting where it is that you want to go. Why? Because that's actually our overriding operating system. That's the thing that is making all of the decisions and choices and running the show. And the interesting thing about that is you have inherited a lot of that programming. So we can look at our ancestral patterns, our lineage. We're inheriting those things. We're inheriting the beliefs and programs from this life on top of that, from the country that you lived in, the family that you come from, the religion that you grew up in, or around. If you don't have any religious beliefs yourself, they're actually still affecting you. They're still in your programming, and definitely coming from the past. So we have all of this mix of amazing information that we have acquired and accumulated throughout years, generations. It's not just this life, it's past lives, it's parallel lives, it's lineage. It's so interesting. It's so interesting to know that we are these super cool dynamic beings, these eternal souls that have accumulated so much experience and habits and beliefs, and they all come with us. They all come with us, and they are stored in our subconscious. And so, even though in this life, as this person that you are, that you have incarnated as, you have these conscious beliefs or choices that you're wanting to have. Like, in this life, as this person, I'm going to have this business, I'm going to have this kind of family. Amazing. That's your mission. That's your mission. That's why you came here. That's for this life. But that doesn't mean that all of the other things aren't affecting the choices that you're making in this life. They are. And so to be aware of that and to acknowledge that also helps the process. Okay, great. I know that I'm having some troubles in between where I am and where I want to get to. And I'm aware of the fact that it's this life and it's past parallel lives, depending on what you believe. If time is all at once, then it's actually a parallel life. But if you're looking at time linearly, then it would be like your past life. But really, time is happening all now, so they're parallel lives. So all of those things are affecting your here and now, and creating those roadblocks. And the great news is that regardless of where they come from, is that you have the capacity and the power to be able to shift those things and to create change in the here and now. And that is where, again, working with your subconscious programming and or releasing the emotional stagnation, those stored emotions, can create a significant change down the line throughout your lineage, throughout your ancestry, and throughout your past parallel lives. All of that change is happening simultaneously. How amazing and cool is that? You are a badass. You are powerful. And part of the reason why you incarnated, part of the reason that you're here, if you're a change maker, and you are, if you're here and listening to this right now, is that you have come in to create change and to create a wave of ripple effects throughout your lineage and also into the current collective. And that leans into building your bigger mission and building your legacy of love. And what does that have to be? Does it have to be something like, does that have to be that you are have some huge corporation, or that you have to be the inventor of some like super amazing technology? Could be, but it could also be that your bigger mission and your legacy of love is being that person that says, it stops here with me. I am no longer carrying these patterns forward within my lineage. I'm healing that stuff right now with me. That is a huge mission. Imagine all the momentum throughout all the generations of your family, all of that energy that has, for you to be able to stand firm and strong and rooted and have that energy smack into you and say, no, it stops here with me. I am changing, I'm rewriting the history of my family right now. That's a huge mission, because just in one generation, with the changes that you've created, you're starting, if everybody did that, or like 1% of the population did that, imagine the ripple effects of change that creates in the collective, within the planet, on the planet. Huge, huge, huge changes. So you are so important, no matter what your mission is, no matter what role that you're taking, or even looking, I mean, that's a huge one right there, just to be the person within your family lineage that says, no, it stops here with me. To have the grace and the power and the capacity to be able to do that is huge. Let's like really sit with that. Thank you for coming here and doing that work. That is tremendous, and that is really important. And if you're somebody who's doing that and creating business, or that's here to create business, no matter what your role is in that business, every single person within that business is creating and contributing to allowing that vision and that dream to bring it to life. So whether you are the CEO, the COO, the CFO, the cleaner, the administration, whatever it is that your role is, you are important. Can any of those functions take place without those people? Look at the chaos that is ensued if garbage collection goes on strike or it doesn't work. What happens to your city? What happens to your town? Does it fall apart? Absolutely. Absolutely, it does. Every single person in the chain, every single person in the business, in the corporation, within the entity, has a very, very important role. And without them, it falls apart. So know that whatever it is that is in your heart, or whatever job or role that you are doing, that it is so important, that you are important, that you matter, and how you are and who you are is making such a significant contribution to the whole, to your bigger mission. So think about that, really sit with that. And for yourself, and appreciation of yourself, and acknowledge, am I actually looking at other people that way? Am I being in deep appreciation for every person along the chain, within the chain of command, within the infrastructure? Am I in deep gratitude for that? Do I really see how it would fall apart without them? Do I value them inwardly, outwardly? And so sit with yourself in that answer. And and be honest again. I mean, all of this conversation is really asking you to be really, really honest with yourself because that's the only way you're actually going to create change. And certainly the only way you're going to sustain change is every time you're honest with yourself. You have the capacity and the capability to create that change. So just really looking at that, looking at how much you're valuing yourself and others, and just noticing where the possibility is to create some change there. Maybe, wow, I am not valuing those people very much. Maybe I'm not valuing myself very much. So how can I pivot there? How can I start to show up with more appreciation and gratitude and just even seeing the truth of the spectrum, how important everybody is and why. And that's a beautiful, beautiful shift to be able to make because that opens the lens to offer in more light and truth. And when we have more light and truth, it's so much easier to see what the next steps are. So then coming into, well, how do I know what my bigger mission is, or how do I know what my legacy of love will be? Well, we've touched a little bit on that in that, just whatever your mission is or whatever your position is, that you're really, really important and you're valuable. And it doesn't actually really matter what it is because it's all contributing to the bigger whole. But if you're somebody that has that like that ache within them, that no, like there's more. There is more. I know there is more. I was meant for more. I'm supposed to be doing something different. Then how do you know what that thing is? How do I know what my purpose is? How do I know why I'm here? Well, that circles back to another idea that we've talked about, and that's honesty and actually noticing what's going on in your world, what's going on in your life, what's going on within you. What are you actually really thinking about? How are you actually really feeling? Because the more honest that we are with ourselves, the clearer it becomes what those things are. So when things start to cross your path, and you're really clear about being able to say, actually, no, 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 even though it's amazing, even though they're offering me $500,000 to do this thing. No, it's a no, because I know the only reason I'm doing it is for the money. Which, sometimes you needs to do that. Sometimes you needs to say yes to the money. And do you? All at the same time, I'll challenge you on that. A lot of times that we say, I need to say yes to the money. Do you actually really need to say yes to the money? And that's for you again to sit with honestly. Why? Is it a question of like, well, I won't have a home to live in or food to eat? Or is it a question of, oh, I can't maintain and sustain all of these luxuries? Okay, well then that's really a different answer, isn't it? There's a lot of clarity there. So get clear with yourself. So as these things starts to come into your path, they will start to come into your path more and more. These markers that are going to help you to achieve that clarity by saying yes and no to the things that come in. So yes, this comes in. So another scenario with the same thing. This person is offering, but this person is offering me $500,000 to do this thing. But I know that the only reason I'm saying yes is for the money. The actual project, the actual function that I would perform within the project is a hell no from me. Everything within my body is saying no. I'm just saying yes for the money. Okay, again, be honest. Honest with yourself. So is that steering you closer towards becoming in alignment with your bigger mission and leaving your legacy of love, or is that steering you away from it? What's the answer within yourself? The answer is that is, to me anyways, the answer when I ask myself that question, the answer is it's steering me further away. It's steering me further away. So be honest with yourself. And that's how you start to figure out what your bigger mission is and what your legacy of love is. For most people, it's not like a straight line. Like I do this, and that equals this, and then I will be definitely living my bigger mission and I'll know what my legacy of love is. It's a learned, it's a learned and practiced idea. Your mission just doesn't like a start and then end. It's a continuous thing. And your legacy of love, I think that continues to change. But I think ultimately what that is how and who you are in the world. And that's so important. How are you showing up? How's your day to day? And we touched again on those points. Are you acknowledging every single tier within the structure of your business, within the structure of life in general? When I walk by on the streets, I live in downtown Toronto. It's a big city. When I see the people that work for the city that collect the garbage, thank you. I say to them, thank you. Thank you so much. Without you, the city would be chaos and fall apart. You're so important. So that to me is contributing to my legacy of love. What's the impact that I'm making on a day to day? And does that mean I'm perfect? No. No, I'm far from perfect. I'm a human being. I am not always pleasant. I'm not always grateful. I'm not always thankful. I think the difference is that I really make it important to myself to be conscious and aware of that and to put the effort into looking at those things and to be conscious to say thank you, to be in more gratitude, or to say I'm sorry, or to say I'm wrong a lot faster than I would have in the past when I was more concerned about like being right than being loving. So, where are you doing that in your life? Where can you start to really think about your legacy of love? And guess what? Like, as you practice being that person that says thank you and that says I'm wrong and that says how can I be better and you start to do all of those things, then people respond to you differently. So, do people want to work with me more because I can say, "Ugh, sorry, I dropped the ball on that," or "I sucked at this," or "I'm sorry for saying that. I take responsibility for that, and here's what I'm gonna do to be better." Do you think that people wanna work with me more because I have that attitude or because I am always right and I'm really busy and important, so you're lucky that you get to work with me? Like, who do you wanna work with? Who do you wanna have on your team? Who do you wanna have in as your friend or within your family? What kind of person? So that is really contributing to your legacy of love, but it's also helping you to build your business and to build your bigger mission because more and more people are going to be attracted to you and are going to want to show up and help you and are going to want to show up and offer you opportunities because they can see how and who you are in the world and that you're somebody that has a mission and is taking responsibility for it, is doing the work and is taking responsibility for themselves and their actions and actively trying to be better. So, those are some ways in which you can start to be building your legacy of love and your bigger mission. And right now, I am also actively a part of a live summit that just started yesterday and goes to the 31st of May, and it's free. And so we will put the link within this show so that you can just press the link and sign up if you're interested. And the idea of that is unlocking your path to millions. So that's just helping you to shift your relationship to abundance and money. And that intimately ties into leaving your legacy of love and building your bigger mission because resources and energy are a part of that. And that's what abundance is. That's what money is. It's just an energy, it's an exchange of energy, and it's about healing that relationship with that, or looking at that relationship and building on it, so that you can start to create more of that in your life and start to work on whatever your blocks to abundance are, and start to heal that. So again, you can be calling in more of that to invest into your legacy of love and your bigger mission. And with that, I am complete. So please come on back in. And if there are any questions, we can go ahead and answer those. Because I can't see questions right now. I do see a comment, which is beautiful. Thank you so much for your comments. And I will wait one more second to come to have our lovely host come back in. Oh, there he is.
Yeah,
There.
hi there. Wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for this wonderful session. I really appreciate it. You've shared a lot of things. So, friends, if you have any questions, you can ask, and
Yes.
Lainey will be answering that. Though, meanwhile, we got a question here on the screen.
Yeah.
Sometimes there are failures, and we feel down. So, just want to know how can we overcome the fear of failure?
Yeah, that's a real thing that we all feel for sure. Is definitely fear when we're coming up against, especially a big dream, right? Because it feels it's
Yeah,
so important. It's so important to you. Um, and the only way to there's a couple of ways to overcome that. I know a
yeah,
lot of people say action. Well, take action. And sometimes that's definitely a good way to do it. And sometimes you can't. I know I was one of those people. Well, great. You say just do it. Well, I can't. I'm literally stuck. I'm frozen. I can't do it. My fear response, or my nervous system response, is freeze or hide. So I can't take action. I'm frozen. So it's working on the fear for you, is looking at the fear. So you could even do some of the exercises that we just talked about today. Is okay, I feel fear. Okay, most of the time we feel the fear, and then we distract ourselves because it feels uncomfortable. We don't want to feel the fear. But if you actually just sit with the fear and say, okay, fear, hi fear, I'm sitting with you. I don't want to sit with you. It feels really uncomfortable. But I'm going to do it.
yeah,
And it's okay. I'm safe. I'm safe to feel the fear. I'm a human being, and I was designed to feel feelings. My whole system
yeah,
was designed to do it. So I can do it, and I'm going to be okay. And I like to talk to myself like that. I talk to myself as I'm doing it. It's okay. I feel uncomfortable. I don't want to do this. It feels really uncomfortable, but I'm going to do it because I'm safe and it's okay. Okay, fear, I'm going to feel you. And then give yourself a couple of minutes and feel it. Like, where is it in your body? Where does it go? And then breathe into that. You know, we hear a lot about the power of breath work. So use it because it's true. It is. It's there it helps to move energy. So that's the same thing with emotion. If you breathe into that space within your body and you allow your breath to do the work, it will do a lot of the work for you. So just sit with it and let it move through you. And then you'll start to notice that the amount of fear, or the level of hold that it had over you, starts to diminish. So even just doing that for like 5 minutes, you can go from like a level 10 fear to like maybe a level 8 or a level 7. Great. Do it again. And do it again. And then that's a way that you can do it with yourself. You can do tapping on it, it also really helps. And work with people, because initially anyway, it's hard to see what your own stuff is. And it's a lot easier for us to talk ourselves out of actually doing the work, because we're so used to being in that state that we need somebody to help us to get out of it. At least I needed a lot of help from a lot of different kinds of people to help me to get unstuck. And then once I was like, oh, I see why these things weren't working, because I literally was not capable of doing those things. I needed to release myself of those frozen feelings and before I could actually take action. And is there another question? I think we're frozen. But that is excuse me, that is a big thing. That was definitely a big source of frustration for me, was the different ways in which we respond to stress. I couldn't understand, like, why I couldn't do certain things. That's just not the way that I responded to stress. But and also the cool thing is that as I continue to work on that, my response to stress has changed. Where I was once, a freezer and a hider, I'm shifting more into a fighter and an action taker, and I didn't even know that that was possible, but it's happened for me, and so because it's happened for me, I know that it's possible. So it can also happen for you. So whatever it is that you're looking to get, whatever change, then hopefully then that gets to take place for you. Are there any other questions?
Thank you so much. Sorry, guys, today I've got a problem with my laptop. I don't know what happened. It's a sudden, unexpected thing which happened. So it rebooted, and I'm back again. So we have another question from Shubhajit here. If someone hates us regularly, how can we induce love into his heart?
That's a really, really tough one, isn't it? We don't infuse anything into somebody else. We oversaturate ourselves with it until who and how we are becomes so magnetic or powerful that it either inspires the shift in the other person or that person starts to fade away from our lives. So that's it's a hard one because we have family members or friends or maybe even a coworkers that we're like, but I can't escape this person. This person is a part of my life. Well, there is truth and then not truth to that. One is that ultimately you get to decide what it is that you surround yourself with, and you can create boundaries and you say yes and no to those things. And I know it's hard, but it's still a choice, and it's a real thing to say, actually, no, I don't accept this, and I won't accept this. Here's my boundaries. This is the kind of behavior that I'll allow. And then in the other instance, or both of those things can happen at the same time. It's I'm continually working on myself and being love,
Yeah,
that it forces, not forces, because we can't force, but I can't think of a better word, that it's that resonance that you become. People either line up with that, they're attracted to it and they line up to it, or they're repelled by it and they disappear.
yeah.
So again, you can't make anybody else do anything. You can only be it yourself, and that's going to attract them or it's going to repel them.
Like minds people will come into your aura, and
Yes.
the people who won't be connecting with your energy, they will be away.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you for the wonderful answer, and thank you, Shubhajit, for asking this question. So I've got a question here: how to find out your realistic and meaningful goals for your mission?
Okay, first of all, get rid of the word realistic. Let's think about anybody that's created anything exceptional in the world. Was it realistic? No. Most of the time people told them, "You're crazy. That's never going to happen." Think about the first car, the first plane, the first anything really. More often than not, people are they poo-poo on you and your ideas. And that
Yeah,
takes that resiliency within yourself to really get clear. That's where that honesty and clarity that I was talking about comes in. When you're really honest with yourself and really, really clear, it doesn't really matter what anybody else says or thinks, and or just don't even share what it is that you're doing with other people. So get the word realistic out of the way. and sit down with yourself and be honest with yourself. What do I want? Okay, and do it twice. Do it twice because the first time you do it, that's when you're going to be realistic and you're going to put boundaries on yourself and constraints. So that's going to be more of a reflection of um, the way that you're holding yourself back. Okay, I want to have $70,000 and a partner and one kid because where I come from and the people that I grew up with and where I live, like that's that's realistic. That's what most people do and that's what most people have. Oh, okay, that's not what you want. That's what you think you can have based on all of those things, what you grew up in, what's being reflected back to you. Go to the next step. Okay, well, if you have that, if you have $70,000, a partner and one child, then what? What's after that? Okay, well, I have that. Well, probably the next step would be maybe a $250,000, and maybe because I'm making more money, I can have two more kids. Great. Okay, so that's actually what you really want. You just don't think that
Yeah.
it's possible. So you're making your dream smaller. Great. That gives you a lot of information. So do that exercise. Do what do I want? And once you have it, then what do you want? That's helping to expand possibilities and giving you a clearer picture as to what it is that you actually want. Maybe you need to do it 3 times. Maybe you need to do it 4 times to actually get to what it is that you actually want. And then what you do is you look at all of the things in the way and you start to clear those. And that starts to clear the path for you getting to what you actually want.
Thank you. Wow, thank you so much. That's a wonderful answer. I'm sure that you got the answer. So we have another question here from Shubhajit. Generally, we get hurt when any near and dear one,
Mm,
if does not do as per our expectations.
mm.
How to overcome? Thank you,
Yeah.
Shubhajit.
Thank you so much for the questions. Manage your expectations. That's I'm a parent. I have expectations for my child, but guess what? That's my idea about what I think his life should be and what he should do. But he is a whole individual. He's a soul. He's an eternal soul that has come here with his mission and his purpose. My job isn't to tell him exactly what he needs to do. My job goes back to what I said before about like being okay. If I want him to live the best life possible and to make good choices, what do I have to do? I have to live the best life possible for me and make good choices. I have to show him that that's what I'm doing because that's how we all learn. Like, think about it. We all learn is through watching other people and seeing it, and then we know what's possible, whether it's conscious or subconscious. And then we also learn by doing. And so, if manage your expectations and have open and honest communication, that's another thing that ties into expectations, is it's all in your head. Well, I expect you to make breakfast every day, but guess what? I've never told you that. So how how does that person know that that's my expectation, and how can they decide whether or not that aligns with what is best for them and their mission and who they're here to be if I've never actually had the conversation with them? So are you having open, honest, and clear conversations where you're being very specific about what your expectations are to allow the other person to say, well, I'm totally in alignment with this part, but this part, no, that completely goes against who I am. I have zero interest in doing that. It's never going to happen. Okay, so then it's up to you to manage your expectation. Either I can choose to have this person still in my life because I value all these things, or I can choose to say, well, our values aren't aligning. We have different expectations. So I'm going to have to go in a different direction. It depends on you specifically, but there's a lot of things there with expectations is a you thing and a communication thing.
Yeah. Thank you. I hope, Shubhajit, that answers your question. And
Yeah.
we got another one.
Yeah.
How to
That's
overcome
great.
scarcity mindset.
Well, I would highly recommend registering for the summit right now, the free summit, because that's all about abundance mindset, how to overcome. There's 11 different speakers giving you a lot of really good information about how to overcome that. So I definitely do that. And a scarcity mindset is tough, isn't it? It's pervasive. That's there's usually a lot of generations that are tied into that particular mindset, and so it can feel really overwhelming to overcome. And you start by just like start doing the work. So one is asking the question. Thank you for asking the question. That's a step. Two then is taking action. So doing the things that you can do. Okay, well, what are my beliefs about scarcity? So again, it's always the same tools over and over again, like looking at it and getting honest with yourself about it and learning what you're actually thinking about it and what you're actually feeling about it so that you can start to clear what those things are and get the help if you're having a hard time knowing what those things are or they feel so overwhelming that it keeps you from actually moving forward. I know that was for me for a lot of things was I definitely needed a lot of help because it all felt really overwhelming to me. And so if
Yeah.
it feels overwhelming to you, then get the help that you can get. But the things that you can do with yourself is start to examine why. Well, because I don't have very much money. My parents didn't have very much money. My grandparents didn't have very much money. Okay, great. So let's look at that generational stuff and let's start
Yeah.
to do some work around that.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Shubhajit, for this question and Lainne
Yeah.
for the wonderful answer. So Shubhajit says, thank you so much for answering in so elaborated way and in a way very clear. Really love your answers. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much.
We have another question from Healer. How can you involve others in your mission and legacy building?
Yeah, that again goes back to who are you being? Who are you being? Are you clear in what your vision is?
Yeah,
If you're clear, that's really magnetic. It draws people towards you. But who are you being? Are you being that person that is really accountable and takes responsibility and comes from love and comes from gratitude? Are you being the kind of person that people just naturally gravitate towards because
yeah,
of how and who you show up in the world? It's like I'm sure you can think of some people in your life, or maybe if they're not in your life, maybe they're a character in a story or in a movie where that person had such quality of character that people just kept coming into their lives to help them along the way. It all comes back to you. How and who are you being? Um, and and if you feel like, but I am being all of those things, great. Are you asking for help? Are you let it being known what mission you're on or what legacy you're building? Are you actively talking about that? Because that's also
yeah,
a part of it. Are you really owning it and showing up in it and like this is who I am, this is what I'm doing, so that you are creating that invitation to people to be able to step into what it is that you're doing and be able to help you.
yeah. Right. Thank you so much. So I'm sure that Healer that answers your question, and thank you so much for asking this, and Lainne for answering this. So friends, I have mentioned the link to register for the summit. If you want to register, then you can. It's free for all of you. And Lainne, can you please tell us something about the summit, what it is all about, and people who can participate in this, and what can they expect from this session?
It is about shifting your relationship and your mindset with money. It's about, the title is flashy manifesting millions because we all want that, but really at the core of it, it is about helping you to heal and shift your relationship with abundance and get clear on what your mindset is so that you can actually call that in, because we want abundance. We want our lives to be easier. We want to have access to the things that we want to have access to, so so we can be safe, for our families can be safe, so we can make a greater contribution to the world, so we can create the things that we want. We have long lists of desires and wants, and that all happens because of money. So money is just a really great tool, but most of us don't have a very healthy relationship with money. And again, that's the collective energy, that's ancestral energy, that's all of these things. So we've never even really thought to think about our relationship to with money, or to examine it and, like, what do I actually believe, and wait a minute, why do I actually believe that? Because actually money is just like, it's a chair. A chair is here so I can sit down. It's just a thing. Money is just a tool that we use to trade for goods and services, right? So why do I have all of these uh, thoughts and feelings about it? So being part of the summit will really help you to start to look at some of those things and give you some tools as to how you can transform and transcend some of your inner dialogue. And you'll be introduced to a lot of people that have the skills, talents, and abilities to be able to help you to create those shifts if you so choose. But in the meantime, you can just take part in the free summit. It started yesterday and it goes to the 31st.
Thank you. So it started yesterday and it will be till 31st of May, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. So Shubhajit has registered and Elif has also
Amazing.
done. Thank you
Amazing.
so
Good
much.
job.
So we have another question here. Can anyone be happy just by getting plenty of money in life?
What do you think? I think you already know the answer to that. Sure. Having a place to live and food to eat and clothes on your back. I mean, those are essential needs. We need those things. And does that help to create happiness? Absolutely. But I think almost every person that has um, a lot of financial abundance will tell you that that is not the thing that makes you happy. It certainly makes it easier to be happy when you're not worrying about living. Like, let's get real and honest. We need money, absolutely. But is that the thing that makes you happy? No, it's not. There's so many really, really wealthy people that are depressed, that are angry, that are unhappy, because that's what they're making the source of their happiness is the money. Money just adds to your happiness. Yeah.
That's right. Thank you. Thank you so much, so friends. I have only two, three more questions with me. If you have more questions, you can ask. So, meanwhile, we got a question from Shubhajit again. Can I say I'm abundant when I have more than enough money with me?
You're abundant right now. Yeah,
Yeah.
money doesn't make you abundant. Money is an amazing tool that we need. But that's not what abundance is. And I know that that is a frustrating concept to really anchor in.
Yeah.
But abundance is everything. Like, think about if you have all the money in the world, but you have cancer. Do
That's
you
right.
feel like you're abundant? Do you feel happy? No. So you also need health to feel abundance, right? Okay, so you have health and money, but you have no friends or family. Do you feel abundant? Nope. You feel lonely. You feel depressed, right? So you need some money, you need your health, you need friends and family. Okay, you have all those things, but I'm not doing anything with my time. Like, I want to do something more. I want to contribute something. I want to help in some way. Like, there's all these aspects to life, in which we want to feel full in every aspect of life, and that is
Yeah.
ultimately abundance.
Yeah.
Yes,
So,
money is linked with emotions. Money is
if
linked
you
with
release
with emotions.
emotions, if you release emotions from money, then it's only just a piece of paper.
Yes, yeah. It's whatever the meaning that it is that you're giving it, right? If you ask probably 5 different people around you right now, "Okay, what does money mean to you?" Probably you'll get a lot of different answers because we give the meaning to every single thing. And so, yes, and then there's gonna be an emotion tied in with that because anytime we give anything a meaning, it's because of an emotion.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for the questions, Subhajit, and thank you so much, Lainne, for answering. So I got a question here. How can we maintain a positive mindset throughout our journey?
Work. There isn't an easy answer. I know I wanted things to be a lot easier than they were. I mean, they're not easy and they're also not hard. It's just like I thought like, "Oh, well, I've got a positive mindset now, like, it should kinda be like that all the time." No, it's not, because 'cause we're
Yeah.
human beings. We're human beings, and we're gonna have all the range of emotions. So we're gonna be happy sometimes, and sad sometimes, and frustrated, and angry, all the things, but how can you be happier is just practice feeling happier. I mean, it's really as simple as that, and if you can't feel happy, and then it's doing the work in between there. Like, why can't I feel happy? What's here for me? Again, that could be a pattern. That can be an energetic thing. It can be an ancestral pattern. Like if depression or feeling angry or frustrated, if you look back at your generations, and like that's really the feeling that most people in your family have felt, that's been the most often practiced, well, then that becomes a pattern. And so it's again like shifting the pattern. And again, that just takes work and honesty.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Mhm.
So you got another question on the screen. What requires to be abundant?
Okay. Well, again, we just looked at like what abundance really means. Abundance means all of those different things, and that requires you doing the work. That requires you doing the work, and you just have to start somewhere. So in order to have all of those things, we talked about health and friends and family and money and a purpose. And okay, well then if I'm working on abundance and health, then am I taking care of my body? Am I meditating? Am I exercising? Am I eating healthy food? Those are action steps towards becoming abundant in health, and abundant in money, because most people are really interested in abundance in money. Well, what am I doing to create that? Am I looking at what my patterns are? Am I looking at what my inner dialogue is? What am I saying to myself when I say money? Oh, it's hard to get. Oh, I'm never gonna get it. It's impossible. It's never happened. Where I live or my family, like all of the things. Like what's your inner dialogue? Write it all out. Those are the things that you need to clear. Start clearing on them. If you have a list of 20 things, start clearing them all. And then you're gonna start to dissolve the hurdles that are in your particular way between getting
Yeah.
from where you are to where you want to be.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. So my second last question comes. The question I've got from. Okay. The question is, how can someone find purpose after a major change, major life change?
Yeah, I've had a lot of major life changes, so I totally can understand that. It can either feel really scary or you can shift and think about why or how it's happening like for you. So say it's a relationship breakup, say it's a job loss, say it's a home loss, like all of these things that let's not diminish that it feels really scary. So if you lose your home, I mean that's a primal need. You need to have a home, and if you lose your job, well you need to have money so that you can have a home and eat. And your relationship, well that's a big thing. Again, that comes down to security, and again I've lost all of those things, and so I understand the feeling behind that. And for the most part, if we really look at it, I know it certainly was true for me. Uh, was I ready to let go of those things and I wasn't letting go of them? Yep. That was true for me in every single case. So guess what happens? Guess what happens again, bigger picture, like remembering that we are not just humans, that we're dynamic spiritual beings that have come here with a mission and a purpose. So we do have to stay on task, on track with that. And if we're not, the universe is going to come in and disrupt and get us back on track. So say you're in a relationship that actually doesn't work for you and makes you feel like crap all the time and you're unhappy and sad, but you're just scared to leave it. Uh, it's going to be a blessing that the universe comes in and breaks that up. Or say you're in a job that, again, the same thing, like you hate going to your job every day and you know that you're meant for more and you know you should be doing something, but you're not because you're getting a paycheck and you need the money to pay for your bills. At the end of the day, those things all end up being a blessing because it's throwing you on your right track and you weren't doing it. You weren't listening, you weren't being honest with yourself, you weren't listening to yourself. And you're going to be forced to when you're not doing that. So it's just shifting to what's actually here for me and being honest with yourself. Okay, yeah, I really wanted to leave that. And so when you can start to do that, then you're going to start to see what your next steps are a lot easier and faster.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Shubhaji says, really so awesome. Oh my God, how can you answer in so particular way? Really, I love the whole session. Thanks a lot, Lenny and Prashant, for
Thank you so much.
organizing
Thank
the
you
session.
for all your
Thank
amazing
you. Thank you.
questions. Yeah.
So my last question of this session is like, what final advice would you give to someone who actually wants to build a legacy of love and live his or her bigger mission? Like the people who are watching us now or people who will be watching us later. Any final advice you want to give to them?
I think it's the same thing that we've talked a lot about here. It keeps coming up, so it feels like it's the most important thing is do the work. I know we just want to like step into those things like okay, I'm just going to do it now. And again, when I say these things, I'm really speaking from my experience of myself too. I just wanted it to be so obvious. I wanted it to be so easy. And I wanted to fast track and shortcut on the work because I wanted to get there. And that's not how it's done. Maybe for some people it is. And that's cool. If that's your path, that's amazing. And if that's not your path, that's okay too. So really be honest with yourself. Are you being those things? Are you doing the work? How are you showing up? Because you do have to be the things that you're wanting to see in and from other people in order for that to start to show up in your life. So if you're wanting to live your bigger mission and build your legacy of love, well, who are you hanging out with? What are they doing? Are they interested in building their bigger mission and leaving their legacy of love, or are they sitting at home watching Netflix? Not that there's anything wrong with Netflix, but like where is their energy? Where is their attitude? There's lots of things that you can do that are going to start to create that and change in that in your life.
Yeah. Thank you so much. So now, as we are reaching to the end of the session, I really want to say thank you to all of you, to the audience who have joined us and have been here till the end of the session. So thank you so much for being here. Um, I really appreciate your patience. I really appreciate your presence here.
Mhm.
And Lenny, thank you so much for sharing your expertise and guiding us through such a profound topic. Your practical advice and heartfelt stories that you shared here actually have given us the tools and motivation to, embark on our own journeys to build legacies of love and discover our greater missions. To our wonderful audience, once again, your participation and your engagement have actually made this session even more special.
Mhm.
I hope that you found the discussion as inspiring and as empowering as we did. So remember, the journey to building your legacy and living your mission starts with small intentions and steps each day. Keep taking small steps And if you would like to connect or stay connected with Lenny, then if you want to learn a lot of things from her, then you can follow her on social media. And once the session will be over, I'll mention her details in the description box, and you can connect with her. You can directly get in touch with her, and she will definitely empower you as she has empowered us today. Once again, thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you next week uh, in the next session with a new topic and a new speaker. Thank you so much, Lainne, once again for accepting the proposal and being here.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for the questions.
All right, friends. So see you next week. Till then, stay healthy, take care, goodbye, and namaste.